Hey, what's up everyone? This is your host Manik and I welcome you all to another video on this channel. So the device that I have with me today is the latest budget device in India to have a 90Hz LCD display. So without further delay, let's unbox and have a quick look at the Realme 6i, the latest budget device from Realme. But before we get into it, do make sure you hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon next to it so that you can be the first one to know when a new video arrives. So first of all, we get a classic yellow Realme box. In the first box, we have a SIM ejector tool and a case and some paperwork as usual, and the case looks good. Next we have the phone wrapped in this soft plastic cover, and I'll quickly remove this sticker, and the color that I have purchased is Eclipse Black. Let's power up the device quickly, and next we have a 20-watt fast charger and a USB Type-C cable, and both of them seem to be of good quality and durable, and this device supports 30-watt charging. Though you will have to buy a separate Pubg charger for that, so keep that in mind. Overall, this device looks identical to the Realme 6 that was launched some time back. Design wise, it looks and feels good, and this one too has a plastic frame like other budget devices in this price point, which is alright as even the OnePlus Nord at 25,000 rupees has the same, so can't really complain about that. The camera bump isn't huge and the case will do a good job of protecting it. We also have a SIM card slot on the left hand side, and this one does have a dual SIM and a dedicated SD card slot as well. And it is a really good addition in most budget devices these days. So setting up the device quickly, and it has the Realme UI, and I'll come back to the software part later in this video. So this side mounted fingerprint scanner seems fast and responsive and works like a charm every single time. And on the left hand side we have the volume rockers. Coming to the specs, we have a 6.5-inch Full HD Plus LCD display that refreshes at 90Hz, along with the 16-megapixel punch hole camera, a 4300 mAh battery, and this base variant has 4GB of RAM with 64GB of UFS 2.1 storage, which is a good thing. Apart from that, we have this quad camera setup on the back, and the primary one is a 48-megapixel sensor, along with an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor, both of which are surely not that good. Anyways, this device is powered by a MediaTek Helio G90T processor, and I have been using devices with only Snapdragon processors in the past. So this is really a new thing for me, and I'll reserve my judgments for the full review coming really soon. For now, here are the Geekbench scores for the Realme 6i, and in the single core department, it scored 537 points, and in the multi-core, it scored 1664 points, which is respectable for a budget device. Now coming to the display. So this one has a 90Hz display, and it feels really good at this price point. I must say, it feels quite smooth and responsive. The colors are sharp and vivid, and it gets enough bright in outdoor scenarios too. Now coming to the software part. So as we know, this device runs on Realme UI, built on top of Android 10. And the security patch with this one is of June 2020, which is not the latest one, but alright. And honestly, this Realme UI isn't the best out there in terms of features, like MIUI 12, but it has one great thing, and that is, all those ads can be disabled with just a single click only, and that is really a good thing to have. And usability wise, Realme UI is good. It has a lot of features inbuilt, which you all will really appreciate, even though the UI is far from stock. But overall, I'm not a fan of custom UIs, and I feel every device should have a stock Android. Which one is your favorite? Do let me know in the comment section down below. So performance wise, everything seems good so far, with no lags or frame drops, and I did some testing with Pubg and other games too, and it was able to run Pubg on ultra and high settings, and you can use GFX tool to boost it up even more, and I'll cover that in some later videos, so subscribe if you haven't already. Here is a short gameplay on maximum graphics settings, and I would say it impressed me so far with its performance, and I did not see any major heat up whatsoever in my initial testing period. It could easily manage around 60 FPS with GFX tool. Also, the screen protector on this one is pre-applied, so you don't need to get one. It's great to have it pre-installed, as this is generally a main concern when we buy new devices, so that's good. Now coming to the cameras, well, here are some images and video samples that I shot from those back cameras. So overall, the images look great from the 48 megapixel primary sensor, and if given good lighting, this camera can produce some good results, and the close-up shots have a decent bokeh. The images have good dynamic range and are quite crisp for a device at this price point, and like every other budget device, this device falls apart at night time, and this is where that night mode kicks in. It really helps a lot in making the images usable and does a good job overall. Plus here are some quick samples from other 3 cameras. Well, you do get good results with the front facing camera too, and here are some quick samples. And the portrait mode also works fine. The edge detection is good as usual. Well, I'm really sure that a compatible Google camera will result in even better images overall, so I'll surely test that out soon. Now coming to the battery backup, well, it has a 4300 mAh battery that can easily last for a full day on a single charge. Though it is too early to judge it, but my initial impressions are quite positive for this one. And it's easy to top that up in around 55 minutes with a 30-watt charger, which is really great. With the supplied charger, it takes around 1 hour and 15 minutes to fully charge the device, and I'll be posting an in-depth video on that soon, so stay tuned for it. So overall, I feel that it is a better device as compared to Redmi Note 9, and by spending ₹1000 extra, you do get a better screen, a better processor and no ads. So these were my initial impressions with this device, and I think it is a solid budget device for this price point, and I'll be sharing a lot more content on this one really soon. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.